Right, let's see what they consider a night section of the research station. Okay, was somehow expecting we'd start off with darker lighting in here. Not that the lighting really matters all that much considering how our visibility works in this game, but still, it's also more than a little hard to be in any way intimidated by those cute-looking, slow-moving bugs we just slaughtered. Though with our luck, things are gonna escalate in a hurry. Right, so we aren't even allowed to try getting to that missile upgrade from over here. Kinda makes me wonder why we were even allowed down here in the first place if it doesn't actually lead to anything. But then, I feel like I've been questioning the level design in this series for pretty much all of the games. And it's not like this one is as absurd as some of the crap we had to deal with in the 3DS game. Right, somehow doubted bombing the entire floor would get us anywhere, but it was worth a try considering some of the other hidden paths we found in this game alone. Anyway, seems that this is when the lighting got turned down for a bit more atmosphere. Though I can't help feeling that if the lighting doesn't make it harder to see, it's kind of pointless to darken things at all. I'm not saying that Metroid can't pull off horror, just that there are some aspects of horror that they apparently can't quite click into place. The monsters are scary and we feel in danger. There is no denying that. But I can't help feeling that there's a bit more to making something feel downright horrific than that. Though I can't seem to think what that is off the top of my head. Okay, those ice X's really do a lot more damage than I was expecting, and I somehow doubt we're gonna be able to heal conventionally while we're running to the next data room. Probably because the only enemies between us and there are the ice X's that we have no means of damaging, just temporarily stunning. And of course, some of them are hiding inside of various breakable blocks, which is kinda discouraging me from being especially thorough as we explore these hallways at the moment. Hell, a few of them are literally in spots that it's impossible to avoid getting damaged by them. Well, at least it looks like there are some standard enemies in this sector, even if we can't get to them just yet. Please tell me there's going to be a recharge station soon. I just don't see how we're supposed to evade these things. And it doesn't help when we need to go to the other side of a given hallway to know what our obstacle is going to be. It's not like the map is going to tell us that we're going to need to speed boost through some blocks. I suppose that's one way to heal, and I very much appreciate that since I'd rather be taken down by things I can actually fight against, not things that we don't have the tools to deal with at all. Right, so a hallway full of regular, easily killed enemies just before the save point. Guess that's supposed to be our big breather. Huh. I was really expecting us to be able to move further to the right from in here. Guess I should look for some other way to the data room. Yeah. Either the way way forward is breaking a bit of the floor, or I missed something in that save room. I'd rather not think about the fact that we might have to turn back and deal with more of the ice X's that we already got attacked by, just to get in this far. Mostly because the boost blocks make going back that way completely impossible. Really have the feeling that the wall has to be something special there, but having a feeling doesn't help you much when you can't get through it. There we are! Oh, there's no way we're getting the super bomb anytime soon. Huh. How convenient. The SAX is here to open the way for us. Certainly polite of her. I can't think of any other point where the enemies open the way for us in this entire series. Sure, the firepower she has that we don't at this stage is rather intimidating. But that sort of thing just makes it hard not to consider the SAX an outright idiot. Then who am I to talk about idiocy when we dropped right in front of her? And when the only reason she can't get to us is that she temporarily forgot she has the ability to outright destroy sections of the terrain. Anyway, here's a good point to save, possibly get some rest, then get a move on further down. Well, at least that batch of breakable blocks was predictable. If only there was a way to really avoid these ice X's when we can't know what blocks hide them until they're loose. And we've made it. We made it just in time to see an X take our upgrade right in front of us. Okay, so we're being attacked by high-speed geometry for some reason. Excuse me for preferring to fight against enemies that are some relatively identifiable animal or plant, instead of a ball with a bunch of walls around it. Well, considering how infrequently we've been able to see the thing, the charge beam is probably a better idea than the missiles. Not that this is an especially difficult fight for us right now, at least compared to a number of the other fights we've gone through. Always awkward when a boss somehow feels more difficult when you've technically beaten the main form than when you're dealing with the more basic creature underneath. But this ball is a lot more aggressive than the other ball we just dealt with. really feels like I should be embarrassed at how easily that could have gone worse for us. Anyway, good to know that we're now equally capable of handling both extreme cold and extreme heat. Though to be honest, I preferred the sleek-looking blue over this combo of yellow and red. I know it's the same color combination as the Vieira suit we've seen in all the other games, but the overall suit design isn't quite the same as those other games. It's just a minor issue that's kind of itching at me here. Anyway, now that the ice exits have become another Metroid of healing instead of something to be afraid of, time to save, then move on. Kind of hilarious to see them trying to kamikaze dive into us, only to be absorbed like all the yellow, green, and red X's we've come across in this game. Not much of a fall trap if you predict it's gonna be there before you get to try to get the upgrade. Though it is kind of annoying that there was a cliffside I could have grabbed onto and rolled into, but you can't get them all. Kinda funny that the Kamikaze X's have figured out that their suicide dives haven't been working anymore. Certainly some solid evidence that they've got a hive mind. Do I have an obsession with hive minds? Because when we're dealing with scary monsters of some kind or another, I always seem to get less scared when it's every monster for themselves or when they need to use some kind of radio to communicate with one another. It's just something that struck my mind as we are working our way back to the nav room. Yeah, really not much these guys can do to us in this area anymore. And again, I really wish that the whole night section of the space station thing wasn't such a short-term gimmick. And I doubt it's going to be much of a gimmick when we come back here anyway. Well, at least there are a lot more traditional monsters now that we're heading back, and the scary gimmick this started on isn't a thing anymore. Probably says something that the normal enemies we're dealing with in this game don't feel all that much more difficult than the enemies in Zero Mission, AM2R, or Super Metroid. Not that the enemies in the 3DS game were anything all that memorable for the most part. Sure, every game has a lot of good variety, but it's kinda depressing how little that variety generally matters outside of some absurd recurring enemies like the especially durable pirates at the end of Zero Mission, or the Metroids themselves. I'm not even sure why I bothered going after that hidden X. Revenge for earlier on? Sure, those things unnerved me when we first entered the place, but it's not like they managed to kill us. Not seeing anything other than more enemies to deal with here. Right, so there are things to grab in here, but we don't have the tools for them, like so many other times in this game and others in the series. Not too surprising, but still annoying. Probably taking longer to get to the nav room again than it strictly should. Not that we're in an actual hurry, just that I'm kind of feeling eager to see what comes next, and I'm a little annoyed with myself for taking my time when there's so little left for us here at the moment. Though there's certainly more than enough here that we're probably going to be coming back at some point. Just like we're going to have to come back to all the other sectors we've gone through so far. Right, nothing left to recharge, so let's just see that next briefing. A briefing that's likely to lead us to the next sector, and then get the next briefing immediately afterwards. Sorry, Adam, but that's one of the many kinds of questions that you're never gonna get any satisfactory answer for. Normally, I'd say something about it being a bad sign when the characters themselves are calling bullshit on what's going on in their own story. But to be fair, this poor AI wasn't part of any of the adventures we've been through with Samus before now, so we wouldn't really know that things can get quite absurd around here. So all we can do at this point is just roll with the punches and hope the bruising doesn't get too bad. Well, considering our last run-in with the SAX, I'm pretty sure we're already good at evading the damn thing, even without the immunity to its ice beam. Sounds reasonable enough. And I'm very sure we're going to have an annoying time reaching whatever data room they send it to when they finalize that upgrade. Losing the ice beam isn't especially terrible for us here. After all, we spent the last 4 Metroid playthroughs dealing with the things to the point that we were told they're extinct by now. Ice super missiles. That should sound awesome, but it doesn't feel all that awesome to me. Kinda wish I knew why. Sooner or later, they've got to run out of go-to-data room objectives around here. I know technically speaking, the other games had a lot of repetition from one objective to the next, but we didn't have someone outright telling us what our objectives were, so it would become more apparent just how many times we were essentially doing the same thing over and over again. Again, it's not that I have something against the concept of our AI custodian, it's that the execution feels like it could have used some more work. Well, it looks like we've unlocked all the sectors, even if there are some doors within those sectors that are still locked at this point. right. Of course it's not going to be as quick a trip as the minimap implies. It rarely ever is. Oh, I'm sure they'll be helpful. It's just that I can't think of too many things that we can freeze around here. At best, that might make things a little easier for us to get by the snakeheads, but